all your school rugby, all in one place. This is Next Gen 50. Alright guys, welcome to Next Gen 15, and of course a very happy new year to everybody. Let's hope 2021 is a bit better than 2020 and we get to see some rugby. Now, as is tradition with this channel, we do kick off the year by looking at 15 prospects that we'll be keeping a close eye on in 2021. So if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to click that subscribe button as well as bell notification, and as soon as new videos are released, you'll be the first to know. Now, this is all of course based upon PAX 100. The PAX 100, as you guys know, is one of our partner companies that we're working quite closely with. They choose 100 prospects to watch every year. That'll be released over the next couple of days, and of course from this list of 15 we are going to pick our number one prospect, which again we will be releasing in a few days. Keep an eye on our Instagram page as well as our community section of our YouTube channel, and all details will follow. So let's get into the list, and this is in alphabetical order, so no particular order. First up, CALVERT from Westville Boys. He's a hooker, and this kid's just got immense power, way beyond his years. One gets the feeling that he could have actually been playing first team already as an under-16 player. I think with Westville been waiting for this guy to step onto the scene for some time. What I like about him, he's controlled aggression. He plays with an aggressive style, but he's not too confrontational and he doesn't lose his head. Often inspires players around him, and what I see from the Westville team is that everyone's game levels up when this guy's playing. He's a warrior and he leads from the front. I think most unions are scrambling for his signature, and he's one of the most in-demand players in the country. So BRYCE certainly someone you have to keep an eye out on, and someone we're really looking forward to seeing playing this year. He's going to be an absolute monster. Next up we have COMPION von LUDWIG from Paul Boys. He's a fly-off. We spoke about him a bit last year, and no doubt he's going to be one of the premier fly-offs in the country this year. Just the way he gets a backline moving and his spatial awareness is absolutely fantastic. Now, he's been through personal tragedy, and I think it's going to make him even stronger going forward. In terms of his the mental side of his game, he's been through a rough time, but he's going to put that all behind him and he's going to power forward. And I think it's going to be a very big year for him, and no doubt, again, another player that unions are going to be fighting very hard for come the end of the year. So COMPION, another player that's just an outstanding prospect and definitely going to have a big year this year. Next up, we have HEUNIS from Oakdale, a prop, and this Oak is an absolute unit. He's going to be terrorizing a lot of opposition teams this year, and he puts in the work across all areas of the field. I mean, his work rate is absolutely insane for a prop. One of the toughest customers out there as well. He's a real hard man, and he doesn't step back for anyone. No doubt it's going to be a breakout year for him. Watch the space. I think there's SA Schools colours in his future, no doubt. And it's a big year for Oakdale as well, guys. Oakdale are having probably a generational talented side this year, one of their best ever. So, and DIAN's going to be a big part of that. So just keep an eye on this team. It's a very exciting year for the boys from Riversdale. Next up, we have STEYN from Grey College. He's a centre. Now, at the beginning, I remember seeing him as a Grand Como player, and I just thought to myself, because of the quality at Grey, maybe 2020 was like a year too early for him to make the step up. Proved me completely wrong. Simply uses talent. He has every quality that you expect in a centre. They're going to be dangerous again this year, and I think he's going to play a very important role in that success, and he can really make the SA Schools jersey his own this year. Definitely going to be one of the players to watch, and he just made the step up seamlessly last year. He's just a natural talent, and from a school like Grey College that just produces quality rugby players, this is another one on the assembly line that really looking forward to seeing this year. Next up, KUNENE from Paul Boys. As you can see in terms of position, fullback, centre, you can even probably play wing, and that's the one problem with HAKEEM. Where do you play him? He can literally excel across any position on the field. And what we have seen with some talents is that can be an issue, but words cannot do justice to the amount of talent that HAKEEM has. He's going to score tries for fun this year. Now, he's not only a finisher, he's a provider as well, and his name is going to be mentioned a lot this year. So we're talking about him now, but by the end of the year, everybody's going to be talking about him. That's just a guarantee. Again, this is someone that can command a massive salary when the unions come calling. I mean, everyone's going to be after him. Next up, POTGIETER from Hilton. He's a lock, but he can play loose forward as well. I think had the 2020 season played out, I think a lot more people have been talking about HEUNIS. Very powerful athlete, excellent conditioning. He can play at full intensity at a high level for the full 70 minutes. As I mentioned, he's comfortable as a loose forward as well, just to go show his athleticism. And I think Hilton's going to have a very talented team this year, and him and his partner in crime, so to speak, Nick Hatton, are definitely going to be ones to watch. So it's going to be a very exciting year for Hilton. And, when a certain somebody asked me to recommend locks to him, I recommended this guy, and he snapped him up, and with good reason. I mean, HEUNIS is someone that's definitely, sort of flown under the radar, so to speak, because of the break in the 2020 season. But had the 2020 season happened, everyone would be talking about him. I've been following him for quite a while myself. Next up, Jean Smith from Grey College. Of course, we have to mention Jean. He's a great fly-off. And in terms of school level, my opinion, he's a complete fly-off. Running game, tactical, kicking, goal kicking, all on point. Very high work rate, but also coupled with natural talent that just makes for an exceptional prospect. He's going to be a point-scoring machine this year. I think he could probably end up topping the charts, him and von LUDWIG, for example. And definitely the SA school selectors are going to be watching him very carefully. He's definitely going to be one of the first names on the list come selection time. Very, very exciting talent. And for those of you that don't know, son of Franco Sr., who was a fantastic centre / fly-off at school, and then his brother Franco Jr. was a fantastic centre at school. And dare I say it, I don't want to put too much pressure on the kid, but, John, some would argue that John might be the most talented of the Smiths. So we'll see how he performs, but I'm very excited to see him. And he's also a humble youngster, very down to earth. Having spoken to him a couple of times, just fantastic kid with a fantastic future. I don't have anything bad to say about him. Next up, Keegan Smith from Paul Boys can play as a centre or wing, and he's an absolute tiger. He's explosive, and despite not being the biggest, he doesn't stand back for anyone. I mean, his tackle against Monument last year, I think it made everyone take notice straight away. He's a powerful runner and finisher, and Paul Boys are going to have a lethal backline this year, and there's going to be no doubt that Keegan's going to end up close to being one of the top in the try-scoring charts this year. I mean, if you take a look at that Paul Boys backline, you got 4 or 5 players that could easily make the SA Schools team. It's a scary, talented team, and this is going to be one of the finishers in the team. So it's going to be an exciting season, and expect some massive tackles as well. I can't wait to do his highlights reel by the end of the year, so you guys can see what we're talking about here, what we're working with here. Very exciting talent. Next up, LUCA RIBBENS from Paul Boys. He's a loose forward. And I think, he just completely blew me away with his performance against Monas last year. The transition from under 16 to open rugby was just seamless. I mean, he looked like he belonged from the moment he stepped on the field. He's just a natural. He just belongs on that field. He's definitely going to be one of the top prospects in the country, and a lot of eyes are going to be on him, but he's certainly going to relish the pressure. Also been mentored by an old man that's got a fantastic rugby background as well, is going to help. And, the whole thing with Luca was that he was playing lock. He's been, he's transitioned between lock and loose forward, and I think he's found his home at number 7. So definitely going to be one of the top players in the country. And, some guys would have maybe said that he could have even snuck into the SA Schools or SA Schools squad A squad last year. So, yeah, very, very much looking forward. And another Paul Boys player, goes to show you how much talent is in this Paul Boys team. Then we got another flanker that's very talented as well, NEELS VOLSCHENK from Grey College. Now, what's nice about Niels is that he's an old-school Free State talent. I mean, he doesn't beat his chest. He talks with his performances on the field, and he very much personifies the phrase, actions are louder than words. He's a hard worker, very physical, and he'll fight for every inch. He'll bleed for that jersey, and it's someone that you want on your team as he leads by example. And definitely one of the players that we're looking forward to seeing the most, and seeing them prosper in 2021. He's just going to have an outstanding year, and I think everyone that follows school rugby quite closely is really looking forward to seeing that Grey College back row. It's likely going to be him, Mav Olivier, and Ferdy Vergatini, I think it is. Between the three of those guys, they're going to be an absolutely lethal combination. So really looking forward to seeing that. And Niels, no doubt, is going to lead from the front. Absolute talent, and again another one of these good down to earth kids that just wants to play the game and focus on the game, and ignores all the noise around him. So yeah, going to be a massive year for Niels. Then we got Neil LaRue. He's from Oakdale as well. He's a scrum off. And like I said earlier, they have a generational team this year. And in LaRue, they have a generational talent. And what's nice about having someone with this amount of talent is that you got someone that's going to be a great link between a brutal pack of forwards and a speedy backline. And he's the ideal player for the responsibility. And he's been working very hard on his tactical kicking and his distributions on point. He certainly has to be the leading scrum half prospect in South Africa this year. And I mean, last year there would have been like intense competition from the likes of Nico STEYN and Rowan Clutty and all the rest. But I mean, this year he can definitely make the number 9 jersey his own in terms of an SA school selection. There are other talented scrum halves out there, don't get me wrong, but Neil is just a very, very special player. And, in my opinion, by some distance is the best scrum half come the start of the season. But, at the end of the season, there's going to be other guys that are going to put their hands up. They're not going to let him have it easy, certainly. And I don't think he'd want it easy anyway. He's a competitor, he's an athlete, and he wants to test himself against the best. So it's going to be a hell of a year for him. Then we have KUNENE from Affies, and another player that can play virtually anywhere in the back line. And many in the northern part of the country are saying that Nokia will be the most exciting prospect in the country this year, and it's hard to disagree. He's a natural finisher, he's clinical, he has ability to create opportunities even when his team has their back to the wall. Just an absolutely outstanding impact player, and can create something out of nothing. And, beyond this year, he's just going to have a very exciting future in the game as well. Like his rugby IQ, his ability to read play and open up the gaps is just beyond his years. So, yeah, very, very big future ahead for him as well. And then we have SULEIMAN HARTZENBERG from Bishops, is a wing. And this is someone that really set the scene alight at Newlands last year. It was his only performance of the year, the Newlands Rugby Day, but I can't remember the last time I saw such individual brilliance on display. Much talk of him being included in the SA Schools squad last year. Absolutely no doubt it could have been possible. I mean, had he had more time, and if he could have kept up that consistency of play like he did at the Western Province Schools Rugby Day, or the Newlands Rugby Day, there's no doubt he would have made SA Schools if he could have kept up that level. But it's very hard, because to keep up that level of play for a whole season just means that you at another level of athleticism, because he completely destroyed his opposition number, and his opposition number wasn't a joke that day. So it just goes to show you the level of talent that we're working with over here. And I think he went over to Wales as an under-16 and decimated competition there as well. So there's a lot of guys talking about him, and very powerful runner, strong as an ox. He's a finisher, he's a defender, all-star prospect, huge future in the game, and someone that everyone's going to be rushing to sign. Everyone's going to be rushing to sign this guy next at the end of the season. Just believe us on that. And then we got THANSVILLE MAYMAN from Garsfontein, a prop. And if I had to pick out a breakout talent for 2021, I think it would have to be him. Props are often go underappreciated. And when I saw his performance at the Afgri Festival, it was just immense. He was all over the place. He's an absolute bulldozer. Even if he's given the tiniest amount of space, he goes for it. And he loves to run over his opposition with ease. It doesn't matter what's in front of him, who's in front of him, he's running over it. Great in the scrum as well. And guys, in my opinion, this guy's already, in terms of my prediction for an SA school squad, he's already got his name on the sheet as far as I'm concerned. He's an absolute tank. And Garsfontein, their rugby program has absolutely gone through the roof in the last decade, and this is an example of another talent that's coming through that system. And whatever union manages to step him up is going to be a very, very lucky union, because I think beyond school level as well, he's just going to develop into an absolute mammoth. I mean, he's going to be, I think this is the second coming of Steenkamp right here. And then last but not least, we have Waldo van den Berg from Monument, who's a centre. Now, the thing is, what is it about Monners and producing these amazing centres? And, Waldo is someone that we've been watching since his junior days. And, him and Marco Buerta last year as a centre combination, I think, in his rookie year, he would have achieved amazing things. Maybe not quite at the level of achieving SA school selection because of the quality of centres that were there last year, but definitely close enough, and definitely someone that people would have been taking notice of. But obviously, like a lot of the other players, he's robbed of his rookie year. And there's no doubt in his senior year, it's going to be his breakout. And he's definitely going to drive Monners forward. And this is Monners' centenary year. So it's a big deal for Monners this year, and they need players of this type of stature and this type of leadership and this type of quality, this type of humility. There's so many adjectives you can use to describe Waldo and his game in general. But But nothing that we can say can do justice. All we can say is wait until the season gets started, see this kid play, and then come back and argue with us. So that's it, guys. That is the top 15. Well, the 15 prospects we're going to be watching very closely. Remember, we do have a list of 100 prospects, and we will be releasing that in the next couple of days for you to take a look at. Any players that you feel that we missed out on in terms of this list of 15, leave a comments down in the section below. Remember, we're only working with grade 12 players, and out of these 15 players, we will be naming our number 1 prospect for 2021, which will be featured on quite a number of high-profile rugby websites, partners that we are working with this year. Have a fantastic week further, and let's hope to see some quality rugby in 2021. Cheers. Bye.